Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Hina. Thank you, Jackie. Thanks all of you. I mean, doesn't it make you feel proud to see a northern lad do well? George Osborne's Cheshire constituents must be absolutely chuffed. Absolutely proud as punch, I imagine. He's apparently promising to bring the iron discipline that he showed at the Treasury to the Evening Standard. He's pledged to reduce the circulation year on year for the next 5 years. Only kidding, George. I always thought you were a great man. And what is the best email address to send the press releases to? So, moving on. So anyway, never let it be said that I am not a fair man. My daughter, Gracie, went on her Spanish exchange to Madrid last month to stay with her new friend, Alba. And her parents took the two of them to Real Madrid's Bernabeu Stadium. This week, it's our turn to host Alba. And where have we taken her in return? That's right. We brought the Liberal Democrat Conference here in York. We've told her it's Wembley. So, actually, we have told her the truth. And she's incognito, but she is here tonight. So welcome to the only party in Britain that is unashamed to say that we actually like foreigners. It's well, it's absolutely fantastic to be here in York again, and it's a city that exemplifies our liberal values, that the folks of York can, not once but 2 years running, welcome a party led by a Lancastrian. Shows just what a tolerant place this truly is, and I thank you. But we gather here at the end of a week that will go down in history. The week that our government won the right in Parliament to trigger Article 50 and throw our country out of the plane without a parachute. The week that Nicola Sturgeon chose to exploit Brexit to seek to divide our country. The week that 3 million EU citizens who have made our country their home were told that they did not count. Now let that sink in. This is a time when you need to trust your gut instincts. If those 3 events this week make you instinctively angry, then the time for posting distressed statuses on Facebook is over. The time for crying into your coffee is over. The time for throwing stuff at the TV is over. The time has come for you to do something about it. You need to stand with the only party that stands for Britain in Europe, that stands for Britain together, that stands for a Britain that honours all who live and work here. You need to stand with the only party that stands with you, that stands for you, that stands with the courage of our convictions that this is not the Britain we know. This is not the Britain we love. Britain is better than this. And nationalism rules the roost in Whitehall and in Holyrood. Those who demonise the other, who put narrow ideology before the interests of the people, are running governments both north and south of the border. And who opposes them? Who officially holds them to account? Well, the official opposition of nationalists in Scotland is a puppet Tory party backing the hard Brexit chosen by the English nationalists at Westminster. And in Westminster, those same English nationalists who have hijacked the Conservative Party are officially opposed by the Labour Party. A Labour Party seeking to surpass itself. They are no longer content with merely not being fit for government. They are determined to prove they are not even fit for opposition. The worst opposition leader in British history, the man who makes IDS look like JFK, there was some controversy when Jeremy Corbyn forgot on his tax submission to declare his opposition leader's salary. But I do not think there was any foul play there at all. It was an honest mistake. I think he genuinely forgot that he was the leader of the opposition. And he is not alone, is he? Maybe he's just honestly decided to implement a performance-related pay scheme on himself. Or maybe Paul Nuttall's been claiming it instead. Because apparently, Paul Nuttall is the leader of the Labour Party. It's what it says on his website. And indeed, Dr. Nuttall might as well be Labour leader. Thank you. But, by the way, Jackie Pearcey really does have a PhD. Anyway, but yes. I digress. But, you know, so Nuttall might as well be the leader of the Labour Party when they go hand in hand with the Conservatives to force through a UKIP-style hard Brexit. Labour is not an opposition. Labour is an accomplice. A year ago, when I stood here on this stage, UKIP was the lone British political party that supported the UK leaving the EU. Now I stand here as the leader of the only national party who doesn't. But let us give Paul Nuttall credit. He is consistent. No one can take that away from him. And neither can you take away from him the fact that he was the fourth man to walk on the surface of the moon, that he invented rhino and he played keyboard in Kajagoogoo. And even if you don't believe what is on his website, Paul Nuttall is consistent. He was wrong in June, he is still wrong now. But Theresa May, Jeremy Corbyn, Philip Hammond, Keir Starmer, where is your consistency? Where's your backbone? Don't buy this guff that these folks are enacting the will of the people. They are distorting the will of the people, either by design or through utter weakness. Who says that the will of the people is a hard Brexit out of the single market, out of the customs union, into the pit of protectionism? Well, we will not roll over. We will not give up. You see, there are generally two forms of leadership. One is where you see which way you think the people are going and you run round the front and shout, "Me too." That's the easy path the others have chosen. The other is where you boldly pin your colours to the mast and you inspire the people to turn and follow you. That is the leadership we have chosen to demonstrate. And as a result, of that leadership, our membership is the highest it has been this century. We have overtaken Labour in donations and we continue to make astonishing gains in elections every week. Because let me tell you this, leadership is a team game. And that is why I am proud of every single one of you. You inspire me. You have given our country hope. Now, our friend Guy Verhofstadt last week raised the possibility that British people could retain their EU passport if the UK left the EU. Now, some people, many of you no doubt, latched onto this as a possible means for us hanging on to the benefits of being a European citizen. But for me, principally, that wasn't the issue. It wasn't the practicalities that concerned me so much. It was identity. And that identity politics is dangerous and toxic. Identity is important, and I am proud of my identity. I am a northerner. I am English. I am British. I am European. None of these is mutually exclusive. All of them reinforce the others, and I will not have nationalists telling me who I can and cannot be. Prime Minister. Prime Minister. Prime Minister Theresa May, you can try to take Britain out of Europe, but we will not let you take the Europeans out of Britain. We are British. We are European. That is who we are. That is how we will stay. Now, the kind of hard Brexit elites that Nick speaks of, they don't like that sort of stuff at all. Their commitment to democracy and the will of the people means seeking to silence everybody who has the audacity to suggest that their project is bad for Britain. One of the many things that was not on the ballot paper last year, but which apparently we now need to just accept without question, is that if you narrowly lost, you had to just shut up, dump your principles, and become an accomplice to the new nationalism. Now, Jeremy Corbyn and Keir Starmer clearly did get that memo, but I didn't. The Emperor is wearing no clothes, and we must keep on saying so. But taking our bold position has had consequences. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, as a result, our friends over at leave.eu have very kindly decided to crown me 2016 Ramona of the Year. Obviously, I'm speechless, incredibly proud, and I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. And that title, by the way, is absolutely nothing compared to what I get called on Twitter. The foul-mouthed creativity is actually quite marvellous, especially when you consider that it is mostly from a bunch of blokes sat at home in their pants. Anyhow, if Ramoning means standing up for EU citizens who have made their lives here in the UK, if Ramoning means demanding that the British people have the final say in this process, if Ramoning means standing up for a family of nations that has healed the wounds of 2 world wars and a terrifying Cold War, then I am proud to be your Ramona in chief. So, no, I am not an enemy of the people, but I am an enemy of those people who seek to divide our country, to pervert the referendum result for their narrow ideology and trash our values by turning our backs on our neighbours. And the more they come after us, the louder I will shout, the louder we must shout. Despite what this government and their fanatical Brexit supporters in the press would like us all to believe, democracy did not die on the 24th of June. It might be a political risk for us to speak out against the direction our country is going, but it is the right thing to do, because what Britain does in the next 2 years will define us for the next 100. So now is not the time to sit down and shut up. Now is the time to stand up and to fight. There is only one thing worse than being a disappointment to your parents, and that is being a disappointment to your children. In 10, 20, 30 years from now, in 10 or 20 or 30 years from now, our children, our grandchildren will ask each and every one of us, what did we do to stop this senseless lurch into division, hardship and intolerance? And while others will have to look away in numbing shame, we will look our children in the eye and we will say, we did everything, and I'll tell you what, I am determined that I will be able to look them in the eye and say that we did everything and that we won. Because we are not in the business of just saying the right things. going on the right demonstrations, waving the right placards to make us feel better while the country collapses around us. No, we are in the business of building a movement so that we can win, so that we can turn our country around. Winning is not a dirty word. Winning is what you need to do to make a difference. And we are here this weekend because we are fed to the back teeth with defeat. We are here in York because Britain needs a progressive party with a vision, with a mission, with a determination to win. We are here because Britain needs the Liberal Democrats. Now, there will be some, and we know them, who will look at the division of our country, the damage to our economy, the dumping of Britain's tolerant values, and they will despair. This week of all weeks, they will despair, but we are here because we will have none of that. This is the place for you if you have had it up to here with despair, if you are defiant, if you are determined that a bleak future of a closed, intolerant, divided Britain is not inevitable. This is the place for you if you believe that there is still a road to a Britain that is open, tolerant and united. This is the place for you if you have the stomach for the fight of our lives, for the country we love, for the cause that is right. Because if you believe that a better Britain is possible, then the Liberal Democrats are your only vehicle for getting there. So do not waste another minute. Get on board, because the future is as yet unwritten. We intend to write it. Thank you. Thank you.